Yeah. Big JTV, man. I'm back. It's been a minute since I gave y'all solo content. Some of these pre-recorders, I appreciate y'all for, supporting me and supporting this channel. Smash the like button. I lost my motivation, y'all. I've been doing a lot of the streams for my Few, but I lost my motivation and I'm back. And there's nothing that's been more motivational than talking about hoes. Yes, I'm talking about Lane Kiffin, the hoe. Yes, very simple. He's a hoe, right? He's a hoe because the person who actually brought this conversation, let me give credit where credit is due. This is Ben Garrett, who is part of an Ole Miss sports show, regular show, whatever. I think he works for On3 Media or something like that. He works for some kind of media company associated to Ole Miss, right? And he questioned verbally the type of commitment that Lane Kiffin has to programs. And this is a very valid question because ultimately he came to the conclusion that Lane Kiffin is not a housewife, he's a hoe, right? And a hoe is somebody who does not have commitments, right? A hoe and commitment are not in the same phrase because that's the antithesis of what they are. A hoe is for everybody. You just have to give the right price. That's a hoe. That's called hoeing. The act of hoeing is selling your body to the highest bidder. And when I say selling your body, I'm talking about getting FUCKED by the highest bidder. And in this situation, Lane Kiffin, he put on that hat. He did not want to be a housewife. He wanted to be a hoe. Now, why does this analogy matter and why is it so perfect, or this metaphor, as you want to call it? It's about him deciding to go where the bag is and for him not being committed to nothing but himself and his vanity and his check and his purse, right? It's not about legacy for this man. It's about who can give him the highest amount of bread. Now, could you argue that the NCAA itself has created this nonsense where coaches are incentivized to chase the bag rather than chase a national championship? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. You have kids. When I say kids, I'm talking about these student athletes who they're going to go where the bag is. With the transfer portal and NIL, they're going where the bag is. They're not going to create a legacy. They're not going to think about, anything other than with their pockets and their future pockets, right? Now, let me keep it real, man. It's hard to tell a man to reject $91 million. It is hard to tell a man, a grown man, to say no to $91 million, okay? But let me tell you a situation in which a man could say no to $91 million. How about a situation where a man has been coaching a program for 5+ years and has taken this program to heights it hasn't seen since the 60s, bro? See, they were saying something on ESPN that was so factual that I had to look it up. Did you know the last time Ole Miss won a national championship, I think it was 1962, right? Just to give y'all perspective, John F. Kennedy was alive back then. He was the president of the United States of America, man. Just to give you perspective, I don't even think my country, Rwanda, existed in 1963 or 62, my mistake. Nah. We became a nation in 1965. Do you understand? Whole countries didn't exist, bro. That's how long Ole Miss has been removed from a national championship, man. And this record and this team, the Ole Miss team that Lane Kiffin, I'm going to give him his credit, was able to coach the 11-1 Ole Miss Rebels, who are definitely going to be in the college football playoffs, who are definitely going to be very competitive against these teams. They deserved, I'm not saying they deserve a national championship, but they're going to be in the mix. They're going to have some great games versus probably Georgia. You know what I mean? Let's say they play Ohio State. I think that's going to be a great game. Let's see that maybe they play Indiana. You know what I mean? Maybe Notre Dame sneaks in and they play them. I think those are fantastic matchups. And instead of Lane Kiffin being a housewife and staying down and loyal, right? He decided to be a hoe and go to LSU. Now let's look at the history of LSU. LSU won a natty in 2019. Okay, what has happened after that? They have failed, bro. If they won a championship, right? If that's the goal of LSU, we compete for national titles, right? Y'all have not been in that mix for years. For years. You're going on 7 years without actually competing for a national championship. So let's rewind back. Mr. Lane Kiffin, the 304, it was in a scenario, in a situation where he could get his first national championship. Because guess what? Lane has never won nothing. And this is where it gets really weird, because this is not even a quality hoe. This is a cheap hoe. Actually, not really a cheap hoe. This is an expensive hoe, but it's a hoe who's not even worth the money like that. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? I'm trying to say that this is the type of hoe that you see in the strip club, right? You're spending bands and bands on her, right? And she gives you one of the weakest dances in the private champagne room that you've ever had. You're like, what? I'm down $300. This girl barely can shake it. And on top of that, she's trying to give me dome, and she's giving the most teethy dome you've ever had in your life. All kind of teeth action. Dry-lipped whack. Like no passion, nothing. You know what I mean? You don't even get to finish with this hoe. You have to finish off yourself. And when I say you have to finish off yourself, I'm talking about the Ole Miss Rebels have to finish off their championship run with, I think, Pete something. I think he's their defensive coordinator. He's going to be taking over. And the nerve of this hoe, I'm talking about Lane Kiffin now, to think that he could still coach a team going into the national championship while being already hired and signed ink dry with another team. Insult to injury is that LSU and Ole Miss are rivals. They're in the SEC. SEC, arguably the most competitive conference in college football. I think it's the Big Ten currently, but guess what? The SEC has a claim. So I'm going to read quickly this article on TMZ, and I'm going to give my last analysis on this. Lane Kiffin's sudden exit from Ole Miss for SEC rival comes with a massive payday, one that makes him one of the richest coaches in college football. Kiffin, who coached the Rebels the past 6 seasons, was named the LSU Tigers' newest leader on Sunday, and he reportedly signed a 7-year deal worth $91 million. Wow, that's about 13 a year. 13 M's a year, wow. This has him in the upper tier of the sport, comparable to top guys like Georgia's Kirby Smart, who inked a 10-year, $130 million extension in 24. Ohio State's Ryan Day, $12.5 annual salary over 7 years. This move comes during Ole Miss national championship hopes. The Rebels are sitting at 11-1 in college football playoff bound, and the fans aren't shy about voicing their frustration. They even came together at the airport and booed the 50-year-old as he was heading to Baton Rouge. Some also flipped him off as he boarded the private jet. Despite any sense of betrayal at Ole Miss, Kiffin defended his abrupt departure, claiming it was a difficult decision, influenced by his mentor, college football legend Nick Saban, and Las Vegas Raiders coach Pete Carroll. Kiffin also claimed he wanted to finish the season and continue coaching the Rebels through the CFP, but Ole Miss athletic director Keith Carter denied his request. I know there's a lot of feelings and emotion right now, Kiffin said. I hope when they settle down, there's an appreciation about what we were able to do here, having the best run that's ever been done in the history of the school. Brother, that's why he didn't want you there, dog. Shout out to the athletic director, the AD, Keith Carter, for denying the request. See, on top of you being a hoe, you're a two-timer, man. You're trying to double service, man. Get the heck out of here, man. You chose your side. You better stick there, man. Look, as a capitalist, I understand the motivation to go to the bag. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm not against that. I'm against just the way that the college football, is set up. NCAA has set up this standard and this way of operation where you leave kids that you promised early on that, hey, we're going to do this together, where you promised an organization that you would take them to the promised land, which is the goal of every coach, and you damn near about to, but you decide to go for the highest bidder, man. And that's the disloyalty and the disrespect that I feel as somebody who values loyalty and respect, right? Now, is it an issue of the game? Don't hate the player, hate the game. I think you can hate both. Here's a novel idea. How about disliking both? How about hating the player and the game? Because Lane Kiffin has done this to Tennessee, by the way, a few years ago. He's done this to USC, right? He got fired at USC. But he's done this multiple stops. Florida Athletic, you know what I mean? He's gotten multiple chances, and he's dipped off like a thief in the night to get to a bigger bag. And a leopard does not change his spots. You know what I mean? So y'all get in the comments, talk to me, bro. The HOE known as Lane Kiffin. Whoosh. Hey, man. Wild times of college ball. Big JTV. Like, comment, sub. I'm out.